Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to a live stream. I could just play this for the whole live stream. You guys just have to sit there and watch me play away. You have to realize these libraries, when I make them, I spend literally hours like this playing them. If it doesn't touch me, I'm not going to sell it to you. So welcome. How are you doing? My name's John Limcool. I own this little website called pluginguru.com. We make patch libraries and sounds. We make Unify, this lovely plugin that lets us put all of these layers together to make a lovely patch like this. And this is using the fingered 12-string. If I wanted to, I just held on Option. Let's get rid of the parts here that are the fingered, and let's go up to the top of the list. And just for fun, let's load the picked and say load into a new Unify layer, so it loads everybody up. This is, I went for the clangy kind of for the picked 12-string for this library. By the way, this library is over here at my website right here. Let's see, let's go back to the beginning of the little stream. I hope you all are doing well. I hope creativity has been a good thing for you guys this week. This is MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5, Double Trouble. And it is this lovely price for 2 more days. And then it goes to $82. So if you want to add this library, which has the acoustic 12-string both picked and fingered, the finger being right here, both the direct input of the guitar I sampled, as well as microphones. So here's the DI. Kind of got that boxy sound. And then the microphones. Just beautiful, so open and right? And then on top of that, there's the electric guitar 12-string, because it's called Double Trouble because it's all stringed instruments that are doubled. So there's the clean. For that kind of a vibe. Kind of a thing. And then I ran it through different distortion amplifiers, so you've got different variations of. And distortion's hard to sample, but I think it came pretty good for the. all that kind of stuff. And then what's really fun, there's also a mandolin also recorded here. Here's the natural, which is maybe the nice. And then the last instrument I sampled, just to do a quick summary, is a Thunderbird bass. And there's artwork for every one of these patches. So you can see the instruments in the samples. I love the sound of this bass. It's got that Thomas Dolby, from the Flat Earth. So that kind of a vibe. And then down below is where it gets really interesting. And last week we had some fun. I'm going to show you those in a second. Let me check chat. I'm just kind of like taking off, and is there anybody here? Hey, there's a whole bunch of you here. Wow. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. It's like I could have a live stream and have one person here, and I'll just keep talking, just even if it's just one person here. So it's good to see you all. Welcome. That's good. I love our little community. So welcome. And then down below here are all the really fun ones. I was playing right here, not Time Bandits. It was just the guitar, Z guitars here. Adrift and a Dream is just, I mean, I could play this for days, you know, just listen. Remember, when you're playing guitar, open the chords up. Don't play. Let's say with C, D minor, E minor, right? You'd play it like this. Keep it open and think like you only have 6 strings to work with. And like actually you can physically picture yourself playing them and strum with little. Don't play. I mean, guitar players, if they're really good, can get close to that, but there's still right type of a vibe to it. Anyway, so this is where it all comes together. You get all these really cool combinations of the electric and the distortions and the effects and the MegaMagic layers. We need Ozzy to come sing. So there's a whole bunch of these. Now, last week we had a question where I was gonna make a whole bunch of extra patches. And we ended up making 7 based on a request to play with strumming and how to make strumming. So if you didn't see that last week we did where we went through, we made MIDI file, we put it into Unify, we made it into both here's the 8th note strumming. So right? Then we made it stereo, so here's the 8th note now in stereo. And we're using some tricks with trigger box on one of the layers, on one of the sides, and it has a probability knob right here that we have set at 6%. So it's limiting how many notes are going through. Oh wait, that's the slides, sorry. So I'm not using that. Oh, that's right, because there's another Unify right here. And this has the trigger box on it. So they each have trigger box doing different amounts of variations. I was like, how did I do that? Sometimes I have to go back and watch what I did. And then at the end of the live stream, we made a patch, remember, called Night Rider. And it's got this vibe, so you just play one note. Now I have finalized it, and I've done the speaker matching and make sure it's in. It's also now set up so that you can hit the sustain pedal. That will hold the left hand, all the stuff happening that you see on this side. And then the right hand, you get your David Gilmour on. I even made custom AI artwork for some dude that's like taking off into the night, leaving the city in his like Batmobile. What's the reason for the one layer to be off? This is harmonics. And I actually have this slider right here does the switch. So it'll change the guitar to harmonics. We're using an ability inside of Unify that's called the MIDI enable. Each layer has this little activity. When something is happening, it lights up. In one of the updates, I said, hey, Shane, what if we made that be able to turn off the layer? But it's different than mute, because mute kills the audio right away. What's cool with this is that, let's go to like a simple patch, like, let's go to the standard library. Actually, let's do this. Let's go back to Guitars 5, because there's some things here where it's just like these things where if we get up here to the guitar bliss, I need to see where I'm at here, right here, like these clean bliss. Oh, those are the phrases. G guitar. Here, like here is 12-string guitar and strings. So right? So we have controls here for volume, the amount of reverb, but I didn't set up, I could have. Let's do this. So watch this. When I play, and the strings are sustaining out. The strings are right here. If I turn them off with this little button, they're still playing. And it's still listening to my MIDI sustain pedal and not cutting it out. But when I play new notes, and when I let up my sustain pedal, it's still listening to MIDI controllers even though the notes have been cut off. So it's cut off the notes, but all the other MIDI controls are still working. So I could turn on the strings and they don't just pop up, because if it was a mute, they would still there, but now they're ready. So this little tiny button lets you turn on and off that layer. If I go over here to the macros, all I have to do is say, give me the full range of what it's going to assign for the graph down here. I want from minimum to max. Go to instrument 1, and it should be, let's rename this real quick. This is string pad. So now when I call up this control and I click right here and you go to instrument, now this has string pad because I named it. And all you do is go here to MIDI enable. We also have MIDI toggle in case you want it to be where you hold a button down play notes and stuff. Then when we take it off, it would just go right back, spring back to being there. But we wanted to go enable. And what this allows us to do now is use this to control that on and off. So the guitar harmonics was not there. So let's say you're doing something with Serum 2 as an example, right? Really quick, because I want to give you guys some like real world applications and stuff for how to do this stuff. So let's go Serum 2 really quick. We're going to call up 2 sounds. So Serum 2 solo. And let's say we want to go to the factory presets and let's go to plucks and let's. Okay, there we go. There's one sound, and then let's go over here. Let's say Serum 2 again, because this is what's Serum 2. What's fun here is that Serum can only play one sound at a time. But in Unify, you can do all sorts of cool things like this. Let's go back to pluck. Let's go to synth, and let's find something that's... So I have these cool... And I have too much of my reverb going, so I'm going to turn down my auxiliary synths right here. Well, this knob, because it's still set to MIDI enable, lets me go from just... Then it comes to another part of the song, just automate this going up, and now... And back to the intro part. So you can use this MIDI enable to do all sorts of really cool variations. I think there's examples in the standard factory voicing in where you can switch between like 4 different layers or doing 4 different sounds. So it's really a fun ability. So the guitar and strings, that one I was playing, that was, anyway, you get the idea with that, right? Now, so. Yes, I use the same pedal all the time. I'm a trained piano player, so I all the time, you know, something sustaining. Is there a possibility in ways that you could choose? You can do that. Like, say that you're doing a live show. You want to switch between different sounds. The rule is you need to load each one of the patches into Unify. So let's do this. Let's go. Let's say we want to have the 12-string guitar. So the rule I would do is this: right click and load these as Unify layers. A Unify layer means that inside of this is everything that makes up this patch. All the effects, even the master output assignments and stuff like that are there. And then let's go to something else. Let's go to another library. Let's go, say I wanted to use just a regular 12-string guitar instead, or a 6-string instead of 12-string. So let's go to MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3, which has down here a really nice guitar. And I want to use the DI and mics. So I say load this into a new Unify layer. And then I also want to have a piano, because in the middle of the song, I have to do a piano solo, right? So let's go to the keys, and we're just going to call up the Church Steinway Volume 2. Load this as a new Unify layer. So I play all 3. Now, my knobs, they got shot because I'm now in Unify layers and they're not attached. So I'm going to go over here to the little bullet. I'm going to say remove, I'll say just initialize all links. And then I'm going to call this my layer switch. My layer switcher, okay? So this macro knob is going to be the knob that I assigned to my keyboard controller on MIDI CC2 or whatever you want to use. And I'm going to give it 3, we have to do it to 1. So we go to the instruments, MIDI enable. And then I'm going to go over here, I'm going to say duplicate +1 because I need this done to all 3 layers. They're all the same. And as long as something is the same, the duplicate +1, I had Shane put that in there years ago as a shortcut for programming to speed things up. So now I have it so that let's see. I have this macro knob. Where's my macro knobs here? I have this keyboard controller here, and I'm not totally familiar with it, but I think I have this set up, right? So I can switch between on and off for all of them, but that's not what I want. I wanted to selectively go between these three. So we thought of this. So if you go to the graph and you right-click, you can say Load Curve Preset. And here are curve presets, and we created step curves that are variations. So I have 3 layers, so I want to use the 1 of 3 for the first one. The second one, I'm going to right-click and say Load Curve Preset. I'm going to go to my curve presets and go 2 of 3. And my third one, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to load my curve preset, and I'm going to say 3 of 3. So now I can go between, let's see, first of all, I got to like engage it and make sure that it's like working as I'm on the wrong slider. So here we are, now we're playing a, and if I get the right knob, oh, come on knobs, there. If there's a point where at the end, I want all 3 of them to play at once, right? Well, it just so happens we can do that because these assignments, this is a control you can like move around. I'll get this a little bit closer so it kills a little bit more of my room. You can move this around. So I want, when I'm at the top, if I'm here, it's going to be there. If I go all the way to the top, I want these guys that are off, click, click, to join at the very end. So we can go at the very end for just the last little bit of the segments. I want all 3 of them. Oh, wait, call back out my controllers. Go to number 1 and double click. And you need to make 2 so that you can make a little L straight up. Oh, I did it wrong. I grabbed the wrong one. So have this one go up. There. So now I have the 12th string. At the very end, and it's too loud at that point, right? Because now all 3 are playing. So let's do this. Let's go over here. We're going to use this right here, which is our tell it to be from 0 to what the current value is. And I'm going to go to each layer. Well, to start with, I have it way too loud. So the whole thing can be brought down. Hold down Option, bring this down like maybe 6 dB or so. But it's still a little loud, right? So I could do it on another knob, but you can also do as many we don't limit you to so many slots for any knob. One knob could be changing 50 things at once. It's just, we decided we didn't want to make limits and slots because that's silly. And the rule is this: in a computer, in software, if it does it once, if the code, if you figure out how to get it to do something, it can do it an unlimited number of times. It's just now you have to make an interface that will accommodate it. We just made it a list so that it's easy to work. So watch this. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go Instrument 1, Mix Level. So it now has that when it's at 0, I don't want that. Actually, you know what I should do? Let me delete that because I wanted to do this one. This is a rare one that you don't see a lot, but what this does is the current value is what it does for the beginning and the end. So now I can use that and I can go over here and go Mix Level, and now it just makes a line. And then I just want at the very end for everything to go like this. Let's see, go like this, double click, and then I want these guys to drop, let's say like that amount, right? And like that. Now I've done this to layer 1. We have this really lovely duplicate tool. So I'd say duplicate +1. So it does it to 2, does it to 3. So now as I bring this up, I first solo, and then when all three are going to play, their volumes drop. See the volumes drop a little bit? So now I can have them. And maybe for the beginning of the song for this, for mix level 1, I actually need this to be louder. So I'm going to double click. And I get to play it. I could set it to whatever I need it to be. Then we get to the piano. The piano seemed a little loud, wasn't it? And then when we get to all three, they drop. I mean, these knobs, they're super powerful in Unify 1. In Unify 2, they go completely on steroid mega nuclear. And I can't tell you why, but I will show you soon. We're so close to getting to show you all sorts of stuff. But these knobs, they really give you incredible power because all of your plugins, this could be changing parameters in effects as well as parameters in your synthesizers, all from one knob. So the power is pretty awesome, right? You know? Oh, the CR78. Oh, cool. Is the possibility to use keyboard keys? We don't have keys set up for key switching. That's something, once Unify 2 is out, that's something we want to make a little MIDI effect that could like key to MIDI CC or something like that so that it could send out CC values on different keys or something. There's possibilities for things like that, but we don't have that right now. So sorry. But again, you could assign this to any CC sender, a knob, a fader on your hardware controller, or your, if I need this to be on the mod wheel, I could just go over here and I could say, copy the knob and then paste the knob. Because this knob right here is set to my CC for my MIDI CC for modulation wheel. So now but now I have to deal with the modulation of it's doing that. So then you want to go into each layer and turn off. You know, you could, for a quick shortcut, you could go over here to the, is this the MIDI effect? Yes. So you could go over here to load MIDI effect, Unify, utility, MIDI filter. Our little MIDI filter buddy, and go to block only MIDI CC 1. So that way it will, these CCs will still change things inside of Unify. But if we go Unify utility, MIDI filter, go over here, Unify utility, MIDI filter. If you hold down Control and Shift, that copies, and then Shift and click to paste and paste. So now I have used MIDI filters. As you see, they are all blocking MIDI CC number 1. So that means I can now, where's my mod wheel? The modules themselves are no longer getting MIDI CC 1. We're blocking it. So now, that way I don't have to go programming inside of each of these layers, going to each one of these guys that have some sort of a MIDI CC setup. It's not that one. I think it's like the Jackson. I think I did it here. Where it's, yeah, so here, see, it's got MIDI CC to the LFO pitch. Finding that and having to set that up, it's a lot quicker just to put a MIDI filter in it right there. So yeah. So there you go. So anyway, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5, you got 2 more days to grab it. So I think most of you here in the devoted family have bought it. Yeah, it's done fairly well. Sales have been really weird lately, so you know I appreciate everybody that is supporting us and helps us pay the bills and keep Paul programming on Unify 2. So we're so close. I can't wait for you guys to see what we're working on. It's really exciting. So I was gonna talk to start about Unify having inside of it a whole bunch of different synthesizers, and that's because if you're new to Unify, I'm going to make this video assuming some of you are more new than some of you that are like seasoned pros that have been here since 2000. But if you click the little bullet, this is where you choose what plugins you want to load. By the way, one feature in Unify 2 is when you go to the plugin page, it gives you a counter at the top that tells you how many plugins are currently in your database. In this computer that I'm working with, I have 2017 plugins. I was like, whoa! So Unify right now is accessing 2017 plugins to work with. And this is how you access the instruments. Over here is where you access audio effects for all the audio effects. And then here is where you access MIDI effects. MIDI effects are a little tricky in that you need to set up a subset. You have to go down here to this little click right here, and you have to go to the MIDI effects, and then you have to tell it that you have MIDI effects, because Unify, they don't distinguish yet in the plugins for VST and VST3 and stuff. They do distinguish between audio effects and instruments, so that when you click here, we don't have to do anything. This only shows you instrument effects. It doesn't show you any audio effects. If you click here, it only shows you audio effects. It doesn't show you any instruments. They don't have that for MIDI effects. So make sure you go down here to the MIDI effects sections. If you've got Bloom and all that kind of stuff, you want to click changes to show what the MIDI effects are. And then here's where I have set up like harmony, Bloom, and stuff like that. That way, if I go over here and I go to the third party, here's where I can see MIDI effects that I have set up. So if I want to work with harmony, Bloom, there it is to work with, right? So you have access to all those kind of things. Now, inside of Unify, so my background, just a quick summary. I have worked since the 80s, late 80s, with Korg, doing sound design on all their synthesizers. From the M1, I did the Dance PCM card. I was actually working in a music store in Seattle when the M1 came out, and I made a set of patches for my customers, because I was the type of a salesperson that I made patches for my customers, taught them synthesizer programming classes on Thursday nights, and did that so that people didn't buy from other stores. Well, it turns out that the patches that I made as an employee at this music store were really good. And they were good enough that when I sent them to New York after I joined Korg, I was first hired as a product specialist. My friend Jack Hotop sent them to Japan, and the voicing management team in Japan went, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. And they contacted me and said, hey, we have a drum card, and we'd like to put your patches from this bank of 50. I made 50 patches. It was really funny. We'd like to put these 50 patches into this drum card. You make combinations and do the drum kit maps. And from that day forward, I was full-time voicing for Korg. I did all the drum maps for the O&W, the drum samples, did sampling sessions for all sorts of things, lots of patches and all the instruments and stuff like that. So I'm used to this concept of there being a central core of sounds that you can access. And then if you add things to it, you still have this core. The workstations, they had a sample ROM. They had chips that had all of these samples stored. And that's what made the M1 such a popular thing, is that before that, you had to load by floppy disk and sit there and wait while the strings loaded. And now you're ready to play something. You need to wait while you load the piano. You know, samplers were here, but they were, it wasn't immediate access. And ROM chips had just gotten big enough that we could scrunch all this stuff to have piano and strings and choir and drum kit all on one keyboard. And that caused it to be a huge phenomenon, because people could do live shows and switch between sounds really quickly, right? Well, I've carried on that concept for Unify, because I want to have access to lots of things. And coming late to the game of making software synthesizers and software, I wasn't going to try to make something to compete with Serum or Omnisphere and stuff like that. Those guys are established, and they're so good. There are synthesizers in my mind still to make that haven't been made, and we will be making stuff like that in the future with Paul. We have all sorts of really cool plans. But Unify first. But I reached out to these companies that release all these free plugins. So OBXD, there's actually another company that just brought up the OBX software and are carrying it forward. I think that's for sale. It's not free, but they have a variation of this where they've added another LFO and so forth like that. OBXD, got permission from the guys that were like overseeing the code for this to include it in Unify. And I got to change the skin and all that stuff. And it's a really great analog synthesizer, right? So maybe we'll get into the specifics of programming these in a little bit, but let me just give you a little tour. So that's one. Let's go over here and let's say duplicate the layer. And let's mute this one. The next one is the DX. This is a very popular free, it's pretty much regarded as the best DX7 as far as to just the raw nature of it. If you know, the patches it comes with in default, I didn't change those. That's what it came with, but you can go over here to the little bullet and say replace from layer preset and go to DX, and these are banks of patches. So if you go to the keyboard bank and you open this up and you go to the cart, it's got 32 piano patches and there's 3 banks of these. So and FM is unique to analog in that attack and all those cool frequencies. When the DX7 came out, it equally freaked everybody out because it created all these things that analog synthesizers, there's no way in, well, there are some ways if you get into ring mods and LFOs, but subtractive means that this has a really bright oscillator, and then you can filter that out, right? And if you need a clarinet, then you would set it to a pulse. Now you sound like a clarinet. If you need a flute, you'd go to more of a triangle, which I don't think we can even do here. You just have to filter it. To make like fluty sounds and stuff like that. Well, DX7 is a whole different concept in that it's basically oscillators, waveforms are allowed to be joined and become more complex because they're mixed on a phase level to get to this from sine waves. I mean, the crazy thing is, so this is a one operator and then a whole bunch of other guys beating it up. So if I turn these all off, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's a sine wave. And then each of these operators, number 2, changes it to this. And number 3, and now 4 is above 3, which means that it's going to beat up on 3 before it gets to 1. And then 5 and 6. So you can get to these frequencies that are just awesome. Awesome to combine with other things. So FM is the other component to the mix in Unify that it's really nice to have. You'll see it in all sorts of patches where it's layered. Right? And then on top of that, there's a whole lot of other instruments. So let's go mute. I'm going to have to unmute this layer. Other instruments in this layer or other plugins beyond this, if you see in the list, digits is phase distortion, like the Casio CZ101. So it's another variation. The whole idea with Unify is that it's a toolkit. There's all these different tools that make sound in different ways that you can add as a layer because Unify is a layer-based ecosystem, right? So let's see. And then MDA, these were some free plugins as far as the DX10 is a simpler FM synthesis. So if we bring this over here, I think I can make this longer so it shows you everybody. So you have some cool parameters to work with, but it's a lot simpler than DX. But it still has that nice tiny, right? So all these tools are different colors in a tool pot. You know, you're painting, and if you only have one form of paint to work with, it's not going to be a very good looking painting, right? So with Unify, I don't think we're going to do Ken. I don't think we're going to do AI anytime soon. Who knows? I mean, I don't know all the things AI is going to add to the toolkit, but and then let's see what else we got here. The last thing. Well, Shane made an organ, so we have a B3 with the drawbars, and you can turn on sustain pedal, so it listens to sustain pedal. Now, to get the organ to sound really good, you'd also want to do a couple other things. You want to go over here to the standards, and I think it's under modulation, Morgan Cab. Gives you a Leslie. Right? And there's actually the direct mix and two different Leslie effects inside of this one effect. Now, if you want the perk, I believe that is something you do on a separate empty layer. Let me see here. If you go Unify, Instrument. How did we do perk? I'd have to look at my patches to remember what I did. Because Morgan Oss, we have a MIDI effect for, oh, you know what it is? It's a MIDI effect. So that we could, you go over here to the Unify standard. It's under Creative, Morgan Perk. And then what you would do is you need to go to Guru Sampler and choose what you want to be your attack transient. And so in the attacks folder, at the very end of the list, you can't see it, but there's a B3 perk. And then there's a MIDI effect here because it's whether you want it to be polyphonic or monophonic or Hammond perk. Because the perk in a Hammond organ is monophonic, so so you can create things with perk to it, but you use the MIDI effect to control it to not be polyphonic. If it was polyphonic and played all the time. But if you want, you can change it to be more legit, like a Hammond perk. So there used to be a technique you'd practice on the Hammond organ of how to play it to get the perk to kick when you wanted to kick in your tracks when you were playing. So that's how you would do that. So we do have the organ and the perk cabinet. Takes two separate layers to pull it off, but you have that. And then finally, at the end of the list, if we go here and just say empty, and then go over here, we have Guru Sampler, and this is where the sample ROM, like your workstations, comes from, because here under the standard library, there's all these different categories. Select samples from all of the different libraries that I've released in the early days. We've done a lot of libraries now just for Unify where we go way beyond this and stuff. But MegaMagic Pads has a select number of the pad patches, like Piano in the Clouds. And then because this is a sample player, you can control the envelopes. So, right? So this is kind of the heart of Unify. I will tell you something. In Unify 2, there is a Guru Sampler 2 coming. And with it, some unbelievably cool capabilities, including MPE stuff. It's polyphonic aftertouch. It's got real LFOs that it's going to be incredible. You guys are going to love it. So that's definitely, I will confirm and give you a little nugget of something coming for Unify 2 is Unify, the Guru Sampler 1 stays here. And we don't touch it as far as making, because all these patches rely on this. But we do have a new, bigger, beefier, and we have cool conversions, and I'll show you all that stuff when I'm able to. But that's going to be coming to the world. It's a whole new instrument inside of this list of instruments. You have all of these instruments plus one more that I can't show you yet called Guru Sampler 2. And so having all of these tools is what gives Unify the power to make all sorts of really, really cool sounds. And you can choose what you want as far as FM, layered with a little analog, layered with a little sampling. That's the fun. That's the power here that we have to work with. So, yes, juicy nuggets in the stream. I wanted to give you guys some juice because we're really close. We're close. We get to show you everything here probably within the next 30 days. So we're working. I don't think Paul is here. He is just, October is our plan for Unify 2 to come. And sooner in October rather than later is our hope. We have a number of the people that are in the chat right now are actually part of our beta team. Our beta team is set. We don't need any more beta testers. We've got people testing everything out, making sure everything is working. And we have a list of things still to fix. But it's a beautiful thing. I was going to show you one thing. I will give you a little treat. Let's see here if I go over here and you're going to come up here. Let's see if I can find this. So let's see. It's going to take me a second to search through everything up here. Let's see if I can find it. Because I put everything up here. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Let's go date modified. Let's see. See if it's here. Oh. Well, darn it. Here, let me just show you something really fun. Unify 2. We're going to run Unify 2 for a second. I want to show you something. So here's Unify 2. We're going to go to the libraries for MegaMagic Guitars Volume. I'm not going to play anything. We're not playing it yet. But check this out. When you call up the patch, the bonus patch from the live stream inside of Unify 1, Unify 2. It's a big, big change. It's so cool. If you go to Unify 1 and you call it from the live stream Night Rider, it looks like this. If you call it up from Unify 2, it looks like this. That artwork is included in the background of the image. And every patch that you call up, when you change patches, the artwork changes. So you have the artwork, and if you make this bigger, you can have it so that it shows you more of the artwork. There's other modes. You can actually click up here if you want to still take up the whole screen like in Unify. But anytime you call up a patch, the artwork is integrated into the patch, and look at how beautiful it is with this interface. So I'm not playing it yet. I can't play it for you, but I want to show you what it looks like inside of Unify 2 compared to here's Hobbits in Love. Here's what Hobbits in Love looks like if you come down here and you play it here. So, big change. A much more beautiful experience when you're playing with Unify. So, loading of patches is a whole different experience when whatever is buried behind each one of these patches that you have to up here click, it's now part of the image. And you can change it. You can make it go away. You don't have to have it do that. But it's built into where it will give you that visual. I want to hit senses for inspiration and creativity. And so being able to see something that ties in with the sound that you're playing, it's just magical, man. It's just really, really awesome. Can we add our own artwork? You can add your own artwork. It's a bit of a work. You have to do the text file like I'm doing now. if you see, if you go over here, there more details. There are ways to do it, but if you want to add your own artwork, we have a database of artwork you can choose from, just like Hyperion. If you're familiar with how Paul has done Hyperion, here's the folder with all the images that were made. Both, I took photograph. I got out my camera and my studio strobes, all that stuff. Here's all the images that come with MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. There's photos of the real instruments that I took pictures of, and then we used AI to load up those images and process them in cool ways. We created all sorts of really cool, creative. Taylor helped me make some really cool artwork that's built in. Every patch has these images tied to it. Now, if you want to use your own images that you make with your artwork, currently it still requires this: a text file that says the name of the patch as it shows up in Unify, and the location and the name of the video, audio, the picture file, whether it's a JPG or PNG. It will do both. But every patch has to be done this way if you want your own custom artwork. That's something we will be fixing in a free update to Unify 2, but it's just we can't get to the interface and everything we want to do. Anything I ask Paul for requires X amount of work in writing software. And some of the things I've asked for, even lately, have been importantly big things, because we're realizing as we do things that we want it to work a little bit differently. So there's just only so much he can do with our target still to release this in October. But we do plan to do some updates, not like we did 5-6 massive updates to Unify 1. It won't be like that, and they won't be that far apart. But there's a lot of really cool things happening for Unify 2, and I can't show you more than that, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg, just to get you guys excited. It's just right around the corner. So Unify 2 will be in October. That's the plan. We're hoping and praying for that. So anyway, so the ability to marry all of those different plugins that are inside of Unify is where our power comes from. This is the core. So when I do a guitar library, I didn't do a whole lot for this. Let's see, maybe some of the, let's see, the guitars themselves, I did mainly, these samples were so fun to play with. I just did tons of. And here's the artwork. That always reminds me of like one of the characters from like Final Fantasy or something like that. Beautiful and Alive. But if we wanted to, we could say plus layer, add from DX. Let's say we want a keyboard. So let's solo this for a second. So let's find the sound we want and see if how. That kind of vibe might be nice. Now, one thing to do with DX, if you want, is if you go to the parameters, there's this setting right here for the engine. And here it's really clicky and stuff. If you go to the modern 24-bit, it's cleaner. It doesn't. The original Mark I has the noise like a DX7. It's got like, it actually sounds like the output of a DX7. It's really interesting. But this has less click. And let's take this up an octave. Let's add it into some effects. Turn it down a little bit. And let's add one more thing, and I'm going to give you guys a free bonus patch. So let's go add from instrument, and let's go to OBXD. And let's say we want to do like an orchestra synth brass. want it to be a little bit slower, a little more dramatic on the for the attack. Yeah. Let's turn it down a little bit. And one cool thing with OBXD is they did a thing where right here you have the ability to pan each oscillator's positioning in the stereo field. So you can use this, I'm going to expand it a little bit more than it was, to be really wide. Right? So, let's put a chorus on this. It could be a little bit warmer and stuff. So let's go modulation, silky chorus. And let's slow down the LFO just a little bit. Nice. Anything else we want to add to this? Choirs and birds and waterfalls. You know what I want? One thing I want to do, go to OBXD. There's a control here for the amp, envelope to velocity, and filter. So let's bring those up. So now it responds to velocity more. I think we want one, I can hear one more thing to do. So let's go to our plus button to the instruments. Let's go to, where is Guru Sampler? Let's say pad Battleborn. This is one of the MegaMagic pads. Solo for a second. I know it needs to be up an octave. Let's see what it sounds like just adding that, just like that. Too loud. Let's have it do a little bit of an enveloping shape. And let's also have it do a little bit of filter. So let's have this be a nice slow up and down. So we have this, so it gets about right there. Let's have it start a little bit darker. There, that's more the vibe I want. This is like back to the 80s, the big MIDI stacks. I'm dating myself. But that's pretty cool. So let's call this it's called Beautiful and Stacked. And made in the September 27th live stream. Save as save. We should put an LS at the end of the name, just so that we know it's in the live stream. Now, when I do this, a rename like that, I like to reveal it in the Finder, and also make sure that I name it here the same, so that I don't have any confusion with, if you ever want to add files, to the graphics to the file, that way the file name matches the name inside of Unify. Sounds like a 10 to me. These are your own patches. It would be fine to... Yes, there's... Well, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of inspirational images inside Unifi too. We've 32 of my own photographs are in there. A whole bunch of stuff that Paul had put together that you've seen in Hyperion is there. It has a nice database inside of it. So you will find some inspiring things to use there if you want. If you want to add your own, it does take the work of making, it has to fit into a certain ecosystem layout and in your library directory folder and stuff like that. So you're right, it does need a little reverb. I was thinking that. I mean, there's a reverb here, but it's M-verb, which isn't that great. It's good. It's one of our 10, but it's one of the stock free ones that is just a public domain reverb that Shane put a whole bunch in. Let's use Klangfalter. How about that? Klangfalter gives us convolution, so we could get some sort of really nice. Turn that down. Wait, let me turn this up just a little bit. Let's go to ambiverb to like cathedral. Now let's do this. Let's shape it a little bit. So we're going to say, make it a little bit shorter and stretch, and then let's put an envelope decay on it. That's better. Maybe the pads I would want to bring up because these guys don't even have it on. So let's bring the pads up to have lots of reverb. Better. I like that better. So save. So we hold down Option, save. Let me get this to you guys really quick. So we'll go over here. We'll say new folder, libraries. Right? So here's our, so revealing the Finder. Because I don't think we're going to have time. I have a lot to show you still to make more. Let's go libraries. So MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. Drag the whole thing over here to this libraries folder. And it puts it in. And then I'm going to go open this up. You don't need the media, the samples, the MIDI files, none of that. Go to patches, go to the date modified. We only need this one patch that we made. So there. And then I can compress this. And let's call this paste MegaMagic Guitar. Let's see. I pasted. I don't want any of that name. So MegaMagic Guitar Volume 5, the 148th patch. Bonus. .guru. And by naming it Guru, you just drag it over Unify and you say, okay, and it will install it, update the database, and there you go. So let me get this into my handy dandy Dropbox for you all to have access to. So let's go over here to freebies. And it's just a .guru. I'll zip it real quick. So let's go compress. And then copy the link. Here's the link. So you can have a nice stacked FM analog guitar layered, the 148th patch, 158th patch, excuse me, 158. Wow. There you go. Never thought about clipping the sound design part. Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about doing stuff like that, and I probably will. It's so hard to make libraries, develop plugins, video editing. There's so much in video editing, and promotion stuff I wish I was doing, that there's a lot of people that don't know about Unify, that if I was to put some effort, I need a video editor badly. So, but yeah, that's definitely something we can do. I'm kind of saving, since we're so close to segueing into Unify 2. Once Unify 2 is out, that's when the tutorials on programming all sorts of stuff will be turned much more into a factory than it is now, just because we're at year 5 of Unify 1, you know, and I love what we have done with Unify, and it's a blessing that it supports me getting to do this full time. So it's been a wonderful thing. Unify 2 is going to take things much farther. There is so much. I mean, seriously, there are corners of Unify 2 that I'm confirming work, parameters save, all that kind of stuff, but I have not been able to dive in as deeply as I want, and probably won't get at. There's stuff that I think you'll find in the future. There's so much. There's just so much of what we can do, so I can't wait. Yeah, Ivar, we don't need Roland to help us for streaming. I have the software for streaming. That's not the problem. The problem is creating content and promoting it and making it look professional and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we got some plugins to show you. There's 3 plugins. 2 of them are free. One of them is superb at what it does, and it's emulating something that's incredibly expensive. So we'll save that for the last. We'll start with one of the, let's see here. Let's go to, I think we're going to go to Groove Summit for the first one. This is a Transient shaper that is free, that the video description in this video already has it there for you to download. Let's play with this groove. Let me really quickly get my notes up, because I have my handy dandy notes right here telling me everything. So I can give you the link, and also I can call up, let's see here. Now, if we go over here and paste that. So this is a free, but you can pay what you want if you want to give a little extra loving attention to this. It's a really cool plugin. When you get to the I want this page, you can enter your price. There's a place to enter your tips as well and stuff like that. But it's really, really well done. And what it can do is this. So if we go over here and we go, this is ADC Transient is the way it shows up inside of Unify. Now, for those of you on the Mac, you might have to do some searching on firewalls. I don't know if he has this as a signed. Apple has this whole signature thing that they require developers to do for the plugins to be allowed without Apple complaining. I have put in things on this computer to bypass all those firewalls, so I can download and it will install the plugins for me. You might not have that. So if you see problems with getting it to work, you would go over to your system privacy. If you ever have an error pop up, this can't work, you go over to your system settings and you go to security and privacy. And if you scroll down to the very bottom right here, there'll be a notification about something being blocked. And you can say enable, and then you can reinstall again and it should go through. So if that is the case. But this is very, very powerful. You have an A gain and a B gain for the attack and kind of the body, right? So, the attack and the release, he calls it. You can actually clip out the attack. Or go the other direction. I mean, it's really nice. And you can do all sorts of gating, and you can have it do expanding as well. Right? So it's really great for shaping things to be how you want it to be. So if you want just to like remove certain elements, or else if you want to emphasize certain elements and get rid of the things that are the obvious things, that the attack will let you get rid of the attack of the obvious things. So you can like use this for making top loops and all sorts of things for your tracks. So this is a really nice effect, and it is free or pay as you want. Next up, UJAM has released a free retro Lofi. Here's the video link. Yes, that exactly. Oh, there is a Plugin Guru t-shirt. Yes, that is, I got to remember how to get there. Fourth wall. Let's see, fourth wall, plugin, let's see, let me find fourthwall.com/. Oh, hold on one second. Fourth wall. I have to get this figured out because I have Unify 2 t-shirts I'm going to be designing and stuff like that. Fourth wall, and then, oh my gosh, let me see if I have to go to the login to get in here. Oh, I don't have the information here in front of me. Cancel. That's not right. Yeah, there is a t-shirt. I'm wearing it. So I'll try to get, there's a link at my website, and I don't think I have it working right. Let me see here, Plugin Guru. Yeah, no, I don't have it up on the, I'm going to try to get that working this week to where there'll be a link for merch on the website, okay? Because I do have t-shirts and coffee cups and a couple other things that we put together and stuff like that. But yeah, there is a Plugin Guru t-shirt, and there will be Unify 2 t-shirts and all sorts of stuff we'll be designing in the future. Okay, so let's get into playing with retro. Let's do this on maybe something more like in MegaMagic Guitars 3. We're going to use this a bit for, these are demo songs that I created that play just by pushing a button. I love Getaway. Oh, what happened? Getaway. There we go. So let's call up Retro by UJAM. It's fn.retro. So it's playing with that mix to give you the vibe. Get the highs. Mint condition, he said. So it's give you retro vibes. Turn up very. So it allows you to do crazy things to the mix to give yourself all sorts of red. There's a lot in here to play with, so make sure you explore all the different modes. So I think they're doing this mainly as a, UJAM is a company that has, one of the investors is Hans Zimmer. So That's why they've released their perk and the big drums that are Hans Zimmer's orchestral cinematic percussion stuff. It's kind of an outlet for them to get all the samples that Hans works on for films and stuff like that into libraries for people to play with. So it's a cool company. Jorge is a really cool guy. I've met him at various events and stuff like that. Jorge and George. I'm never sure when it's in the Spanish spelling of the names and stuff like that. Anyway, the other plugin I want to show you that is really, really cool is a new one from Overloud. They are known for doing some really cool high-end effects for mixing and stuff like that, and their guitar amplifiers and so forth are renowned as well. They have a really cool thing called Fuse. F-I-F-Fuse. Gem FUSE. And if you see this interface, this is very closely related, almost identical in some respects, to the interface of a very famous piece of hardware that is used for mastering engineers that SSL create. You can go buy one of these for, I think, $2,700 at Sweetwater. And they have it available for, it's a $119 plugin to start with, which is a great price. But there's an introductory price for it too, which is a very fair price for what it is doing. And these are not your normal stereo imager, what it's doing, the transformer. Everything is doing things in not your typically expected way. So I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to copy a couple of presets to start with. So here it is, dry. Here's without. So the first patch just, now its input's a little bit heavy, so we could bring down the input a little bit so it's not distorting. This is the subtle magic that gives you that like really cool high-end sheen. Here's without it. You know, at first I thought my original mix was good, but then I play this and I'm like, and then the parameters, this stereo imager is just amazing. It's doing something frequency-based for giving you stereo separation without it. With it. Just gives you this, like, you can look into the mix in a really lovely way. I'm really impressed with how this sounds. The EQ, if we turn everybody off here, so here we are with these guys, should be the same as off, right? So you have an analog drive, just like an analog circuit, you know? Then you have EQ. It's easy to overdo it, but the controls are so nice to work with to get exactly how you want. High frequency smoother, which is something I need for high-end, the digital harshness that stuff happens. Totally smooths it out. Then you can set this trim to be optimized before it goes to the next for the master level. Also, it has side, mid-side, which if you turn this on, now you have mid-side to control with. Without. So it's really awesome how this works. So if you need something to give yourself, there's a couple other effects that do this type of a thing. One that I use a lot is called the God particle. This is kind of like hitting you over the head. It's more aggressive. try to get it sound good. I have this like hitting pretty hard, and even then it's a 62. So there's different effects to do this. The God particle is more aggressive. Now I could get that way with. Let's see, I think I have it bypassed. Hold on a second. Let's see if we wanted to get. I probably want to be back in stereo. Get some shine. Oh, I got to turn these guys on. There we go. Let's compare that. So it's similar. It seems a little more hi-fi with this overloud variation. There's also RX, which is it can get even deeper and change the mix even more if you're not careful, because there's so many tools. But it's really nice to add some depth and sheen and stuff to your mix. So I'm really impressed with this. So yeah, so those are the effect plugins I wanted to show you, and we're just about at the end of the live stream, which is perfect. I want to say she won't watch this, but my daughter's birthday is in 2 days. So happy birthday, Hannah. She did the logo and some of the icons for Unify 2, which is really, really fun. So it's really fun to get her involved. How much of this? The Overloud, I think its introductory price is $69. Yeah. Yeah, so you can check it out if you would like. There's a free demo to try it out yourself with the mix. It's not the God particle is kind of like banging you over. It's very aggressive. And a lot of music doesn't like that kind of approach to the mix, right? Some does for some of the more modern productions and stuff. But you can get there with the Fuse, as well as get more subtle depth and stuff, I think, inside of the mix and stuff like that. And the new Unify, the default guidelines is the same like now. Default guidelines. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Wilf, but the way that Unify works now is how it works with Unify 2. So that's, GUI. The GUI is a little different, but very similar, but better, I think. Having worked with Unify 2, coming back here, you kind of feel the blockiness of this because it was what we could do at the time. Unify 2, it's a different approach. I can't wait to show you all about it. I can't show you more than I've shown you today, because I ran through some patches and showed you the interface. But we'll be diving deep into it here pretty soon. All right. Any chances that the new version can wrap old Windows? No. Windows plugins don't work on Mac. There's nothing magical that we can do to get them to wrap, because it's written for a completely different architecture of processors. So no, that's not possible. And we do have a Discord. Yes, we do have a Discord now. And it's nice and active over there in some parts. The general public area isn't as active as it will be, but okay. Well, if there's options to do that, if it's a plugin that you could load that loads Windows DLLs, then Unify should be able to load that plugin. But we don't have any of the resource stuff built into Unify to do that by default. Yeah, sorry. That's, everybody. When we show what we can do, of course, there'll be questions if we can't do something else. But we've picked what we wanted for Unify 2, and we already have a list of things we want for Unify 3. So, it's all good. Better means not optimized for eye handicap people. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, it's different. It's different. Well, I cut the lawn too. Yes, it does. It does a good job mowing the lawn. Yes. I don't. You know, we have a handful of customers that work in. They're visually impaired, and we try our best, but we don't know what we're doing when it comes to helping people that are visually impaired. So I can't comment. You'll have to let me know. You can change colors and you can do things in the interface visually like that, so you can see things or not see things. Maybe that helps. I don't know. We'll see. Discord link. Let me see if I can get your Discord link. Discord. Of course, it's probably going to need to do an update. Oh, no, it's starting. Okay. Let's see. What's my invite? I'm new to Discord myself, so let me see. Let's see the welcome. Let's do this. This is a message link. So I think this will get you to the Discord. We welcome all of you to join us. We want to have it be a community. We'll be doing things to make it a community as well. It's our beta team is working through there right now. So we have some parts of the Discord are not visible to the public because there's conversations going on in our own little group for beta testing. And so it's a really handy place to do that instead of a form per se and stuff like that. So that's what we're using it for. No, Wilf, we haven't had, maybe send an email to Unify support at pluginguru.com and maybe we can see if you would like to work with it and see if it helps. Asked to be a beta and I was told to go away. Oh, Jim, don't be upset, man. We've had our team from Unify 1 that we brought over to Unify 2. Oh, joke. Okay. I'm horrible at jokes. But yeah. Okay. Well, let's do our shout outs. I think this has been a fun little hang. I hope this gets you guys excited. And just remember, there's all these instruments inside of Unify to play with and do amazing stuff with. So before you start adding all the plugins, the other advantage that's really cool, remember, each layer is its own instrument with its own effects, its own envelopes, its own polyphony. So you can make something like this where it's playing 4 different layers in this case, even with different, these songs are really fun because each track has its own MIDI file connected and you play one note and it takes off and does its thing. So that's the power of Unify in a nutshell. So October is going to be great. Yes, it is. It is. We're really excited. We're super excited. We just got a lot to get there. It's like the last bit of the climbing of the mountain. We've gotten up at 2 a.m. We've put our feet on the mountain. We're climbing, and it's a lot of work. Paul's not getting a lot of sleep right now. Let's just say, but it's doing good. Shout out from Eagle, Idaho. Glad to see you all here. Thank you. Shout out from Texas, Scotland, the UK. Love these hangouts. Great. Cool, Frank. Yeah. My pleasure. Shout out Amsterdam. Good to see you, Robin. Amsterdam. I love it. Shout out from Vermont in the UKs. Okay. We're everywhere. Texas, Scotland, Arizona. Thank you all for joining us. Have a very creative week. Don't forget, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. It's on sale for 2 more days. So grab it. I guarantee you will love it. It's such a great library. There's a lot of inspiring sounds there. It's amazing. You don't think you need guitar, but once you have a guitar to play on a song, it really fits in and it does something magical. It's really, really cool. So thank you all. Hello, Kasaka-san in Japan. Arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. Good to see you all. We'll see you next week, all right? We'll do it all over again, all right? Take care. Bye, everybody.